Hello, algebra students. I wanted to do this example with you because this is just such a perfect picture of how something that's actually really simple looks scary. So let's take a look at the directions. It says simplify negative xy squared plus x squared y minus 4x squared y plus 2xy squared. Now, before you panic, let's take a look at what they're asking us to do. They're simply asking us to simplify, clean this guy up by performing any of the operations we know how to perform. And what operations do we see here? Well, we have addition, subtraction, addition, and so basically we're just being able to add and subtract, or being asked to add and subtract. In the world of algebra, we call that combining. And you may remember that we can only add and subtract like terms. Since the beginning of math, we've only been able to add and subtract the same kinds of things, apples with apples and oranges with oranges. And it's no different in algebra. We can only add and subtract the same kinds of things, like terms. And those like terms are going to have the same variable, the same letters, but also the same exponents on those variables. So make sure you check both. So take a look at the four terms here. Negative xy squared, x squared y, negative or minus 4x squared y, and 2xy squared. Like I said, we're only going to be able to combine those that have identical variable portions. So take a look at this first one's variable portion. It's xy squared. You're not going to be able to combine that with x squared y's. Or the next term, again, x squared y's. You're only going to be able to combine it with another xy squared. So the two terms we see that can combine are the first and the last. Now, notice how I boxed up this plus 2 with the plus in it. That's so you know what to do with it. If you forget to include that sign, you're going to be all in a muddle. So basically what I'd like you to combine is these two. Now, if you're a little confused about what number is in the first term, remember that we have an invisible coefficient of 1. Saying that I owe you an xy squared is the same as saying that I owe you 1xy squared. And now you can just do this math in your calculator with the coefficients. You can say negative 1 plus 2. And so you end up with 1xy squared. Now let's look at the next term here. The next term is a positive or plus x squared y. And we can see that the term after that has an identical variable portion, x squared y. So these two can combine as well. And again, I appear to be missing a number, so that's just a single x squared y. So it's like I'm doing 1 minus 4. And again, you can do that in your calculator, 1 minus 4. 1 minus 4 would give you negative 3. And negative 3 what? Well, we're adding and subtracting xy or x squared y's. So negative 3 x squared y. Now, this answer is perfectly right. There's nothing wrong with it. It is true and correct. However, it is not quite as simple as it can be. Remember that I said we never brag about a 1 coefficient. Yes, that's 1xy squared, but every mathematician in the room knows that's the same as a single xy squared. And so we would not include this little coefficient of 1 if we wanted to completely simplify. And that's my final answer, guys. And again, that's why I say algebra is easier than basic math in a lot of ways. I do not have like terms. I cannot further combine these. We're done. That's it. That's all we had to do. Gather up the ones that were similar, add their coefficients in the calculator, and then don't change the ugly portion. The variable portion is going to stay the same when we add and subtract. All right, you guys, good job. Super proud of you. Happy learning.